Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Tracey Jones, and I am here with a very special guest today, one of our newest authors at Tremendous Leadership, John Crist. John, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you, ma'am. It's a very nice pleasure to be here. And also, I want to wish you a happy new year. I haven't seen you since last year.
That's right.
And I am so happy to be a part of your program, ma'am.
Let me tell you about John. John and I go way back. John has been a fan and an acolyte of personal development. Love Les Brown, read my dad's stuff, and so has been following Tremendous Leadership for many years. And then many of you know I started teaching the Certified Professional Business Leaders, the CPBL course, and John was the first one that signed up. So John is a certified professional business leader as well. And after that, John and I stayed in touch as a coach and coachee because John is transitioning from this world that he is currently in, his first book, which is going to talk all about his decades of experience in
Mhm.
insurance, to becoming a personal development and a motivational speaker. We're going to talk about that at the end. But John, I am just delighted. Yet another thing to put on your resume now is author. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Tracy. I do appreciate you. And I thank you for all the help that you have provided for me and the assistance that you have given to me. So thank you very much, ma'am.
Well, you are so welcome. So, the name of John's book is The Prestizia Protection Playbook. Real stories, real protection, real business insurance. You know how I feel about insurance. That's what Charlie T. Jones started his started his. That's how he made his name in insurance. Without insurance, you are a sitting duck. And speaking of birds, when I talked to John, John's transitioning, like I said, into the public speaking world. And he came to me with this book, and we're going to, of course, publish that book. But I said, John, this book is on insurance, and you're bidding farewell to that. And he said, well, you know what, Tracy? I really describe this book as he called it a swan song, meaning after 28 years in the insurance industry, it was really his legacy gift to small business owners. So, what really compelled you, John, at the very end to say, you know what, as I'm moving on to this next chapter of my life, I really want to leave this in writing. And as we talk about it, if you're a small business owner like me, and like 95% of the people watching and that are fans of Tremendous Leadership, John, this is tremendous information that every small business owner needs to have.
Yes, it is. And I think what transpired for me it was being the fact that I was wanting this transition of wanting to transform from insurance to being a public speaker.
Mhm.
I wanted to leave something so that people can understand that with insurance, it's not about the assumptions. Um, it. I mean, when you assume that something is taken care of or that you have that kind of coverage, then without asking the right questions, or either verifying your insurance, then you never know exactly what happens or what will happen. But I wanted to leave something so that everyone will understand what happens when you assume or you don't assume,
Yes.
and then also to make sure that they understand the claim process and the things that could happen when you do have those particular type of incidents that may have happened to them
Mhm.
in regards to their business.
Yep. And for our readers, John is going to take us through 10 of the policies, the coverages that every small business needs to have. And he's going to be available. I'm going to have all this information. We're going to be sharing this on LinkedIn and doing webinars. But John, in the closing pages, you write, the businesses that survive aren't always the biggest or the most profitable. They're the ones that are protected. Amen. Because all it takes is one claim or whatever, and you can be wiped out, just like with
Mhm.
our healthcare costs.
Okay,
So,
great.
John, you are transitioning, as we heard earlier, from insurance to motivational speaking. How
Yes.
did writing this book, the Prestizia Protection Playbook, how did that help you see the larger purpose for your career?
Okay. Um, Writing this book, I basically looked back at 28 years of experience dealing with conversations, claims, and crisis. And I finally saw the thread that connected it all. I really did. I wasn't just selling policies, I was building shields.
Oh,
Every time I sat down with a business owner, I explained why they needed hard and non-owned insurance coverage, why their BOP policy wasn't enough coverage for them. I was protecting their dream,
mm,
their employees, their livelihoods, their families, their futures. That realization gave me my signature message. Policies protect, passion propels. The policies I sold kept businesses alive,
mm-hmm,
but passion, mine for protection,
mm.
theirs for their craft, is what moves us forward. Now I get to carry that message onto a bigger stage and help mid-career professionals find their own calling, just like I found mine.
I love it. Thank you, John. And even though for somebody like me, who's a speaker, just like you, these are still insurances you need regardless, whether you're a solopreneur or a mid-size or
Yeah.
whatever. So thank you. I love that. You are building shields for people to protect them
Yes.
so they can live out their path. That's beautiful. John, in the closing pages, you wrote that the businesses that survive aren't always the biggest or the most profitable. They're
Hmm.
the ones that are protected. So, what experience burned that truth into your soul?
Well, the big popular companies that thought they were too smart or too needed comprehensive coverage until a cyber attack
Mm,
exposed customer data
yep.
and they didn't have the right endorsement. Millions in liability, legal fees, reputation destroyed.
Hmm.
Then there's this small family restaurant that barely breaks even some months, but they have proper liability coverage, property coverage, and workers' compensation. A customer slips, sues for $340,000, and then the restaurant is still open today due to the fact that they had the proper
Yes.
insurance that was covering them.
Mhm.
They were protected.
Mhm.
You see, revenue can disappear in a quarter, profits can evaporate overnight, but a business that is truly protected can survive almost anything the world throws at it. That's not theory. That's 28 years of experience of watching it play out.
And that's what this book is full of. So, John, if you could go back 28 years when you first
Hmm.
started and tell
Hmm.
young John Crist one thing about what this career would teach him about people and protection, what would it be? What would be that one great thing?
I would tell that 29-year-old that was standing in Walmart, uh, the one who almost said no to Gerald Williams, this career isn't about insurance, it's about trust.
Mm,
See, people don't buy policies, they buy peace of mind. And that comes from knowing someone is looking out for them.
mm.
I didn't realize that at 29 years old.
Oh,
Someone who will pick up the phone at the worst moment of their business
oh,
life and say, I've got you.
mhm,
Let's figure this out together. Every premium is an act of faith.
mm.
Every claim is a test of faith. And if you honor that trust, you really honor it. Then you're not just an insurance broker, you're a protector. That's what the career taught me about people. They want to believe someone has their back. Please be that someone.
Oh my goodness. I can hear Charles with an amen in heaven. Oh my gosh. You have explained it so beautifully.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that. And Dad believed that too. It's just such a powerful calling that if somebody has to leave you, they won't leave you without. So, whew, but I haven't heard it said like that. So, John, what I really love about this, and it says real stories, real protection. You have a lot of things that you have shared about real world stories, and I love that. You structured this book around the real stories, the saves, the disasters, and the surprises. Why did you choose storytelling over a traditional insurance manual?
Well, because nobody reads insurance manuals, really.
I
They
know.
fall asleep by page 3.
Yeah. Yep.
But a story about a bakery employee who rear-ended a luxury SUV in her personal car,
Yes.
and the business had no hired and none-owned liability coverage, that sticks to somebody's mind.
Mm-hmm.
That $200 to $500 policy could have saved tens of thousands of dollars
Yeah.
for that bakery. When you hear that story, you don't forget about that one.
Right.
Not at all. Every war story in this book is a lesson someone learned the hard way, or a disaster someone avoided because they listened or they didn't listen. I figured if I could tell 27 stories, well, business owners would finally understand what's exactly at stake.
Yep.
Not premium and deductible, dreams and livelihoods
Mm-hmm.
are at stake.
I love it. And John, you cover quite a few stories. The one with the rear ending, the luxury card. Is there one of the 27 war stories in this book that really still keeps you up at night?
Yeah, it is. Well, it's one I think about. Um, I remember the handyman. He did really good work. He was an honest worker. But he thought he was very careful and that he didn't need insurance.
Oh,
Be-
yeah.
And one accident and 15 years, because he had a great reputation of building his business, was all wiped out.
Yeah.
Not because he was negligent, I'm sorry, negligent,
Mm-hmm.
but because he didn't have the right policy. I still think about that.
Mm-hmm.
The gap between the intention and protection.
Mm-hmm.
The one that reminds me why I do this is the coffee shop, the family owned coffee shop. Morning rush, I'll never forget it. Someone slipped down and they ended up, they slipped down on some rainwater and they had a lawsuit for the coffee shop owner. And the lawsuit was like $340,000.
Yes.
And this was a family-owned mom and pop shop. And and I had wrote them a BOP coverage that basically covered their whole entire the property, the general liability, covered everything, uh, covered all of their business. And it also covered the medical bill, the attorney, the settlement, and that shop is still open today. And
Mm-hmm.
it's still brewing coffee, still employing people. And that's why I do this business. Because you never know exactly when your coverage is basically gonna help you until you actually have a claim. So you really
Absolutely.
don't know. You really don't know.
Well, you don't know, and it's dangerous assumptions. And then sometimes small businesses think, well, I can't afford it. It's like, but
Yeah,
you cannot not afford it. So
yeah.
let's talk about this. Let's go into like the different types of insurances that you cover.
Okay.
On that one, that critical insights for the small business owners, you call general liability
Mm-hmm.
the policy every business needs before they open the doors. So if general liability is so essential, why do so many business owners operate without it?
Well, first of all, uh, and I would say there's three reasons why they don't do it.
Hmm.
First, well, they feel like they don't need it. Well, I work at home. Why do I need
Yes.
uh business? Why do I need general liability? I work at home. I don't realize that liability doesn't cover my business. I mean, I just don't I just don't need it. And
Right.
then secondly, they want to cut costs. They
Yes.
feel like insurance is optional.
Yeah.
They really don't, and it's something, it's intangible until you need it. But see, so they skip it and they just hope for the best.
Mm. Hmm.
And then third, this is the saddest one. Nobody explained it to them. That's what I hear.
Huh.
They don't know what GL actually covers. They think it only covers like when you slip and fall and that's it. And if you're working at home, they feel like, well, ain't nobody gonna slip and fall at home.
Yeah.
But they don't realize it covers advertising injury, it covers property damage to others, legal defense costs.
Yes.
The education gap in this industry is very massive.
Mm.
And that's partly why I wrote this book.
Yes.
Yeah. Education gap is so wide.
Oh, wow, I
And
love
that's
it.
the main policy that I feel like everybody should even have, even if you do any kind of business,
Right.
because you are open to be sued for
Right.
anything.
Right. And
Yeah.
in today's world, and I love it. And that's what you open the chapter with. So
Yeah.
for the people out there that are going to get this book, education now, you can John will take you into it and we'll have his information. You can get in touch with him. Then you talk about the co-insurance penalty is something most business owners have never heard of until they get
Mhm.
hit with it. So explain that $110,000 lesson in plain English.
Okay, let me explain the if you insure your building for less than it's worth and you have a claim, the insurance company is going to penalize
Huh.
you. They'll only pay a percentage of your loss, the same percentage you underinsured by.
Oh, okay.
Let's say, okay, I'm gonna give you a good example.
Hmm.
Let's say your building is worth 500,000, but you only insured for 400,000. To save on premium, that's 80% of the value of your building.
Hmm.
Now, a fire causes $200,000 in damage. You'd expect to get a $200,000 check, right?
Yes.
Wrong. The carrier applies 80% ratio.
Oh,
So you're only gonna get 160,000
okay.
and you're on the hook for 40,000 out of pocket that you have to pay. See, in the story, I tell a business owner learned this lesson to the tune of 110,000.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to save money on premium
Oh,
and ended up losing far more than they ever saved. See,
yeah.
co-insurance is one of those gotcha that nobody warns you about until it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
But see, the insurance company is gonna pay you 80%. I mean, that's because you have to insure your building close to replacement cost. But a
Yeah.
lot of people don't want to do it because they feel like, well, even if the insurance company, they're not gonna pay me up to 80% of my replacement cost. So why should I insure my building up to 80%?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And so,
Like you
regardless of
said,
what,
what you save, a little bit, $100 here a month.
yeah,
In the end, it
yeah,
doesn't add up to.
no, it's not.
Okay, so you talk about that now. Let's talk about the next one that a lot of solopreneurs or people like me work in. Of course, it's the start of the new year, so everybody's cutting their 1099s. You make a powerful point about the 1099 contractor myth. Why
Yes.
is misclassification such a dangerous game, and what is the real test for whether someone is an employee or a 1099?
Okay. All right. So I want you to understand this is exactly how people misclassify their business when they
Okay,
say a contractor and an employee.
okay,
Okay. Misclassification is it's dangerous because it's like a ticking time bomb. The IRS, the Department of Labor, and your state all have opinions about who's an employee and who's a contractor. And if you get it wrong, you're looking to pay back taxes, penalties, and potential lawsuits.
mm,
However, the real test isn't when someone, with the way that you have someone classified on paper, it's about control. Do you control when, on where, and how they do their work?
okay,
Do they use your equipment? Are they economically dependent on
okay,
you?
uh-huh,
If you're answering yes to all those questions, that 1099 contractor might actually be an employee
okay,
in the eyes of the law,
mm,
regardless of what you put on paper.
okay,
Okay? And here's the insurance angle. Workers' comp audits look at this. If you've been classifying employees as contractors to avoid comp premiums, the auditor will reclassify them and you will owe back
yep,
premium plus premiums, penalties. I've seen business owners blindsided by five-figure audit bills because of misclassification.
okay.
Yeah.
I
So,
love how
uh,
you explained that. You made it very clear which one they are. Yeah,
yeah,
John, thank you.
yeah. I mean, if you control and if you are in control of that person's paycheck, the law sees it totally different than the
Yes,
way that you classify it.
yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That and you have a chapter going into that. We did talk about the bakery employee who rear-ended the luxury SUV in her personal car. And what kind of insurance did you say we need to pick up for that? Just the 200 to $500 coverage. What is that? What is that called, did you say?
Higher than non-owned liability.
Okay, hired and non-owned liability. Okay,
Yes. Yeah. Higher than non-owned liability. It's when an employee runs an errand for work in
got
their
it.
personal car. Okay. And maybe they're grabbing some supplies or making a delivery or picking up lunch for a client.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then they rear end someone. Guess who gets sued?
Mhm.
The business.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Because they're acting in the scope of employment.
Wow.
They're doing it for the business.
Okay.
Now, their personal insurance is going to cover their vehicle. However, it doesn't cover the business, which is going to get sued.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Higher than non-owned liability fills that gap.
Okay.
It typically costs between like $200 to $500, and skipping it can cost you hundreds of thousands in a bad accident. And see, that bakery owner, he learned it the hard way.
Yeah.
And please don't be like that.
No, John, thank you. Thank you. And these are all, I'm sure everybody's writing this down and going to say, I need to get with my insurance person. Now, here's one. I came back. This next one is about cyber attacks. They aren't an IT program, they're an
Oh,
existential threat. So, I mean, I came back, I was out speaking in Dallas at a convene group, and the one guy said somebody had hacked their computer and sent a bill to pay that kind of looked like their email, but it wasn't, to the tune of like 3.1 million. And I was talking to John about this and I got covered. But I was like, oh my goodness. So, you say cyber attacks aren't an IT problem, they're an existential threat. I think every business owner, I don't care what size you are, you realize that. And those of us that do online sales or whatever. And again, there was a medical billing company that got hit with ransomware.
Uh-huh.
Tell me about that and what would have happened without that cyber policy.
Okay. Well, without the cyber coverage, they'd be gone,
Mhm.
really, out of business. Okay. So let me walk you through exactly what the cyber policy covered, okay?
Please.
Ransomware locked down their entire system.
Mm.
Patient data, social security numbers, medical records, billing information, all were encrypted. The attackers wanted six figures to unlock it.
Oh my God.
They had legal notification requirements. This is the company. They needed forensic investigators. They needed PR help because the clients were panicking.
Mhm.
Business was frozen while they tried to restore their system. The cyber policy covered the ransom negotiation, the forensic investigation, the notification costs, the credit monitoring for affected patients, legal defense, and the business interruption while they rebuilt the system. Without it, they'd be paying all of that out of pocket. Wow, I mean, that's just,
Wow.
and they probably would have ended up being bankrupt
Oh,
when it,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 And and they probably would have had to basically either just close their doors, but being the fact that they had the cyber insurance, that lets you know it just isn't an IT problem anymore. It's a survival
It
problem.
is. Yeah. Just get it. And then, kind of what I was talking about right before this, the wire fraud. You think you're paying somebody, you're not paying someone. I mean, all these links you click on or all this stuff going on. So you talk about a wire fraud story where a real estate brokerage lost $74,000 and cyber didn't cover it because you call it social engineering wasn't added. How common is that gap? Because I know you and I talked about it. That's when I
Oh
called
yes.
Hartford and said, let's talk about this social engineering. So unpack this for our listeners, John.
Well, I mean, you brought that to my attention
Uh-huh.
also. Really, you did.
I was freaked out.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's an endorsement that has to be added on to your policy. And it's extremely common that most people don't, most business, because most businesses, we think we got cyber insurance, that's all we need. But there are a lot of things that the cyber insurance doesn't cover unless you ask for it in an endorsement.
Yep. Ask.
And that's an extremely painful way to discover it, believe it.
Hmm.
When you have, like you said, with the brokerage, what they looked at was a legitimate email
Hmm.
from a title company,
Hmm.
uh, changing the wire instructions for a closing.
Yep.
Wow, I mean, they sent the wire, excuse me, they sent the wire, the money vanished. When when they filed the cyber claim, the carrier denied it. Why? Social engineering fraud. What? Which is when criminals trick humans into transferring money. Wasn't That's called social engineering fraud, and it wasn't automatically included in their policy.
Yep.
Wow. This is often a separate endorsement you have to add. Most business owners assume cyber coverage covers everything cyber related. It doesn't. Wire fraud, social engineering, invoice manipulation, these require specific endorsement. And criminals know this. They're targeting the gaps. The $74,000 lesson that the brokerage is one I share or so other with other businesses so they can avoid learning it the hard way themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, those are the three things that you have to require for endorsements to be added to your policy.
Yeah. And so, and again, you guys, when you get this book, you can just go through it, call your insurance agent, say, I've heard that. That's just what I did with my Hartford. And I just went through and I'm like, okay, what about this? Do I have this? Add that as an endorsement. So, knowledge is power. John, I know you talked about earlier the philosophy of protection, which you beautifully articulated. Again, you said we don't sell policies. We build shields. When did you notice that you were making the difference between insurance agent and trusted advisor?
Well, an insurance agent basically asks you what kind of coverage do you need. Um, a trusted advisor asks is what kind of policy are you trying to protect?
Mm.
And one thing I learned earlier, an agent fills out applications and quotes premium. A trusted advisor, he understands your business, your risks, your growth plans, your concerns, and designs a policy that is centered around your protection, around your reality, and not a standard checklist, just like an agent does. And see the difference between those two shows up at claim time. See, when an agent usually he just looks at you as just like another insured. And he basically, when the claim is filed or a disaster happens, well, he's kind of like trying to scramble through and trying to find where your coverage is and what is covered and what's not. A trusted advisor, he already knows your policy. He
Yes.
knows what's inside your policy. He
Right.
knows the coverage that you have, and he's able to go right to it and tell you exactly whether or not that's covered or not. And those are the differences between an advisor and an insurance agent.
Hmm.
And see, the one thing about an advisor, see, he built that shield. That's what I mean when I say we don't sell policies, we build protection. That holds that holds us. When everything else is falling apart, that holds us.
Hmm.
That we have that shield that we built with our customers.
Yeah. Well, I hope when people get this book, not only are they informed, but I hope if they don't have it, reach out and develop that collaboration with their
Yeah.
agent. And so they know you. It's almost like your financial planner, one that you never just take their money and never hear from. No, no, no. You need to the living, breathing, have your back and watch out. John, the name Prestizia comes from prestige and strategy. How
Yes.
do these two words capture what you believe insurance should be?
Okay. Prestige. Prestige is about reputation, doing the work with excellence,
Mm.
building trust over time, treating every client like their business matters, because it does. When someone trusts you to protect their life's work, that's not something to take lightly.
Hmm. Hmm.
Strategy is about thinking ahead, not placing coverage, but designing a protection plan that involves around their business.
Mm.
As their business grows, it identifies the gaps before they become disasters.
Okay.
Understanding how different policies work together to create comprehensive protection. When I founded PRESTIZIA in 2016, I wanted a name that captured both the excellence of execution and the intelligence of strategic protection. Insurance shouldn't be transactional.
Uh-huh.
It should be strategic,
Mm-hmm.
and it should be done with the kind of care that builds lasting relationships. That's Prestige, where Prestige meets strategy.
I love how intentional and forward-looking you are about it, and that makes sense because you emphasize annual reviews throughout the book. Why is the set it and forget it approach so dangerous?
Well, because businesses don't stay the same.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, but your policy does. I mean, you hire new employees, you buy new equipment,
Yes.
you expand into new services, you get larger contracts, you move locations. Each of these changes your effects of your risk
Mm.
profile. But if your policy is collecting dust in a drawer, it's protecting the business you had last year,
Yes.
not the business that you have this year.
Hmm.
The- For example, the candle shop in the book is a perfect example. She started with a business owner's policy that was perfect for when she started. 3 years later, she continued. She her business grew online. Her sales grew. Her wholesale accounts grew. She got a larger inventory, and she had more employees. So her BOP policy wasn't the same. It
Mm.
changed.
Hmm.
Uh, However, when she had a claim, she discovered she had outgrown the policy that she had. and
Yeah.
so and the gaps were expensive
Mm.
because she had
Yeah.
outgrown her coverage. See, and that's why annual reviews
Yep.
aren't about selling more insurance. They're about making sure protection matches your reality.
Right.
Yeah.
And John, do all, I know I go through my annual audit or every other year, but do all companies, do you have to go through that or do some people just, because I have to supply, my accountant supplies stuff. Do they do an audit annually or every other year?
Do the insurance company do the audit,
Yeah.
or you saying the
Well, they send me stuff and said it's time for your audit, and then I fill in
yeah.
all the stuff with my accountant, let them know, and revisit
Well,
and stuff like that.
yeah, they do. They do. They basically look at they require to know whether or not your sales done increased, or if you
Hmm.
done added employees, or if you done grown, or and most people they basically try to get around that. They basically say everything is still the same. I mean, their business is still doing the same sales figures that they were doing 5 or 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And but you've been in business, and the insurance companies are not they're not stupid. And that's why they do an audit. And so they can come in and they basically catch whether or not you are not telling the truth or
Hmm.
not.
Hmm.
And then the insurer gets mad when the insurance jumps up like 3, 4, 5 times higher because the insurance company done did an audit, and then and then
Yeah.
they want to cancel their policy because the premium done jumped up so high.
Yeah.
But they haven't been truthful
Yeah.
about whether or not their business has grew or not. And so yeah, they do a audit almost every year or every other year.
That's what I thought. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
So important. So, John, as a certified professional business leader graduate, you're a certified CPBL, you earned this designation.
Uh-huh.
How has studying leadership
Uh-huh.
changed how you think about employment practices liability?
Okay. Well, working with Dr. Tracy, he has completely reframed how I see EPLR.
Oh.
See, before I thought employment practices liability as a coverage category only, something to check a box for. But leadership training showed me that EPLI is actually a reflection of culture. how you lead, how you communicate, document, discipline, and develop your people
Mm.
directly impacts your exposure to employment claims.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great leaders create great environments where employees feel heard,
Mm-hmm.
respected, and fairly treated. CPL taught me that.
Yeah.
That doesn't eliminate the losses, though.
No, not always, but
You can do everything right and still get sued,
yes, sir. That's true.
but it dramatically reduces
Yeah.
the likelihood. When claims do happen, strong leadership practices
Yes.
mean you have the documentation and the culture to defend yourself.
Yep.
EPL coverage is essential, but leadership is the first line of defense.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've learned.
I love it. Well, you talk in there, you talk about a manufacturing company that fired somebody for absenteeism, which is,
Hmm.
acceptable, but they got hit. I'm
Hmm.
sure a lot of people online can resonate with this with a $185,000 lawsuit, even when they did everything right. And again, this is not about doing stuff right or wrong. Anybody can sue you for anything at any time at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
What does that teach business owners about documentation? You kind of alluded to it. You hit on culture, of course. You had employees, but still, what about documentation?
Well, that management company had a legitimate cause, reason to terminate that person.
Mm-hmm.
The employee had chronic absenteeism,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
absenteeism. They've been warned. They've been documented. The company followed their handbook to the letter, and they still got sued for
Sure.
185,000.
Yeah.
Here's the reality, though: anyone can file a lawsuit. It doesn't have to be merit, and defending against even a frivolous claim costs money, typically 75,000 to 200,000 or more just to go to trial.
Mm.
The good news, their documentation was solid, and the EPLI coverage covered the defense. They came out okay.
Good.
The lesson is this, though: do everything, document everything, every warning, every conversation, every policy acknowledgement, not because you're paranoid, but because you can't predict which termination will turn into a lawsuit.
Yes, sir. Yep.
And when it does, the documentation is your line of defense.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you,
yeah.
John. And for the listeners out there, this isn't to scare you. And for those that have been through it, it's part of business, unfortunately, and it's part of the world.
Yes,
You don't have to be small. It's everywhere. Um,
yes.
but John, I want to talk about you moving from because you did talk about you can be the best employer in the world and still get sued. And you've given them great advice about employee law, what to have, what to document. Expect the unexpected. I always tell people everything will be fair, but not this side of heaven. So just don't worry about it. Just do what you can. But John, you're moving again from insurance to inspiration, and you're transitioning because our listeners will get to hear about your next book in another interview. So you're moving into motivational speaking, and we talk about this and crafting this. What message do you want to carry from the insurance world into the new arena? Because we always coach people and say, well, what were you good at in your previous world? Because there's a lot of good things you're going to take to the next. So, what do you think? What do you want to carry from the insurance world into your new speaking career?
Policies protect, passion prepares. That
You
line
know it.
captures everything, Doc. It captures
Love it.
everything. For 28 years, I protected people's dreams
Mm,
through insurance.
you
The
did.
policies kept them safe, gave them security, and it also let me sleep at night
Yes.
and let them sleep at night. But protection alone doesn't move you forward. Passion does. You see, I'm speaking now to mid-career professionals who
Mhm.
feel stuck. who've done the responsible thing for decades and wonder if they've missed their calling. I want them to know it's not too late. Their experience isn't a weight holding them back. It's fuel for what's ahead.
Mm.
Their passion didn't expire. It's been waiting. The insurance world taught me that you have to protect what matters. The speaking world lets me help people discover what matters most to them and pursue it with everything they've got.
I love it, John. And you talk about, protecting businesses, resilience. I love that you're an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur, this book is for entrepreneur, and you're really helping entrepreneurs learn how to survive and
Yeah.
protect their greatest asset. It's their legacy, their business.
Yes.
But you talk about the protection circle.
Hmm.
What is that, and how does it extend your mission beyond traditional insurance?
Well, the Protection Circle is my premium newsletter community
Uh-huh.
for business owners who want to understand their insurance, not just buy it. Every week, I plan to share insider insights, real world case studies, risk management strategies, and the kind of straight talk that most brokers never give you.
Mhm.
It's everything I've learned in 28 years and delivered in insight so business owners can actually use it. Here is why it extends my mission. I can only serve so many clients directly. The protection circle lets me educate thousands of businesses, helping them ask better questions, avoid common gaps, and understand what actually in their policy.
Mm.
It's about raising the level of insurance literacy across the business community. Protection isn't just something you buy, it's something you understand. The protection circle helps business owners become informed protectors of their own dreams.
I love it. And we're going to have that in the notes where you can sign up and be part of the protection circle. And John's rolling out his new website and everything. And
Yes.
John, if a small business owner reads this book and only
Uh huh.
remembers one thing,
Yes.
what would you want it to be?
That would be don't assume, verify.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
Those three words that could save your business. You see, don't assume your policy covers what you think it covers. Don't assume your limits are high enough.
Mm.
Don't assume that because bad hasn't happened, nothing will happen. Don't assume that your careful approach is the same as being protected.
Mm-hmm.
Verify.
Mm-hmm.
Read your policy. I'm going to say it again. Verify.
Right.
Read your policy. Ask your broker questions. Schedule annual reviews. Understand what's not excluded
Mm-hmm.
and what's included. Almost every disaster story in this book happened because someone assumed. The coffee shop owner assumed GL wouldn't cover that much. The contract assumed tools were included. The business owner assumed everything was automatic. Assumptions are expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Verification is free.
I love it. Assumption. I love that. And John and I assumptions are expensive, verification is free. Just ask. And
Yeah,
for our listeners out there, John and I are big, big AI fans. Big. Put your policy in there and ask it.
yeah,
Hypothetically, I mean, upload it. You got to do the paid version. We use
yeah,
Chat and Claude. Just put your policy in there. I do that all the time and say, if I'm out and speaking on this, would this be covered? And it'll pull
yeah.
up. And of course, you still ask your person, but reading all that stuff, but there's no excuse to be uninformed in
That's
this
right.
day and age. And John, you end the book with your business deserves more than a policy, it deserves protection. So now, as you close this chapter of your career, and we're opening a new one, so exciting, what does protection mean to you right now?
What does protection mean to me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. It means what I've learned from, you know, I've learned so much. Really, I have. I learned a lot from being around you. You have taught me so much. Yeah. But protection used to mean policies and premium. Okay.
Hmm.
It meant liability limits and deductible and coverage endorsement. Those things still matter.
Hmm.
They're the mechanics and how we shield businesses from disaster. However, after losing my son, my brother, and after 28 years of watching businesses survive and fail, writing this book, seeing my whole career laid out in 27 stories, I understand what protection is bigger than insurance.
Hmm.
Protection is making sure the people that you love know they're loved. Protection is using your platform, whatever it is, to help others avoid the pain you witness. Protection is leaving a legacy that matters. I spent 28 years protecting businesses. Now, as I step into motivational speaking, I'm protecting something even more important, people's dreams.
Hmm.
Their belief that it's not too late, the courage to pursue what they were meant to do. Your business deserves protection, but so does your purpose.
Hmm. Oh.
So does your passion. That's the protection. That's what protection means to me now. And that's the message I'll carry forward. Policies protect, passion propel.
And that's going to be the message that our listeners are going to get to read in your next book that comes out. John, I can't thank you enough. You've been just
Yeah.
such an integral part of my life the past couple
Uh,
years, and you've been such an encouragement to me. And watching you make this transition and watching you, like I said, pour everything in here and just such a beautiful segue into the next chapter. You've threaded it so beautifully. And for all our insurance people out there, a lot of insurance folks love tremendous leadership. They love Dad. They love our stuff. Just thank you. It's a phenomenal industry. Speaking and pouring into others is a phenomenal industry. And John, I know you're just going to just be so tremendous at this next venture. So thank you so much.
no, thank you. Thank you. And it's been a pleasure talking and working with you, Dr. Tracy. And I enjoy every moment that I spend with you. Thank you.
Likewise, and for our listeners, we're going to have John. John's going to be over. We're going to do some webinars for any follow-on questions. You can ask the expert. Go over to Amazon, and we'll have John's website up there. But go over to Amazon and pick up a copy of the PRESTIZIA Protection Playbook, Real Stories, Real Protection, Real Business Insurance. It's a quick read, but it's 10 chapters about policies and coverage you need to have. Hey, send your insurance agent one and say, hey, have you got my back? Have you got me covered? Ask, get those
Yes.
endorsements in there. It may up 10, 20, $100 a month, but it's going to be so worth it. You're going to sleep better at night. I know I did when I read this. I was like, I saw John's book and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, some of the stuff I'm like, I'm good. And I'm like, oh no. And that my insurance people took care right away. And I can sleep well at night. So thank you, John, because we don't know what we don't know. And I appreciate you taking care of businesses because at any given notice, something can happen. And
Yes.
as Charles, whatever can go wrong will go wrong. So for our viewers out there, go over there and get your copy and connect with John on LinkedIn. We'll have his website up there too. If you have any further questions to talk to him about insurance or having him come speak to your organization, we'd be absolutely delighted. All right,
Um,
John, what did Charles say? You're going to be the same person 5 years from now that you are today, except for
yes.
people you meet, the books you read. Here's another tremendous book. You just met the tremendous John. You're already even more tremendous than you were an hour ago when we started this interview. So thank you, everybody, for being part of our tribe. Make sure you get John's book. And John, thank you again. And congratulations.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tracy. I appreciate you. Thank you. Have a nice evening, Doctor.
You too. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
All right, John. So again, you were talking about documentation to make sure for employee labor practices. You write, again, you can be the best employer in the world, fair, kind, generous, and still get sued. You said that
Hmm.
earlier. How do leaders protect their hearts and their businesses at the same time?
By separating what you can control from and what you can't.
Okay.
You can control how you treat people. You control your policy, your communication, your fairness, your consistency. You can control creating a workplace where people want to be and feel respected. You cannot control when someone decides to sue you.
Mhm.
You cannot control their attorney's advice. You cannot control their perception of events. So do your best. Lead with integrity. Document appropriately. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And you carry EPLI coverage to protect the business when the unexpected happens. That is not cynicism, that's wisdom.
Yes.
You protect your heart by being the leader you want to be. You protect your business by acknowledging the good intentions don't make you immune to lawsuits.
Amen, brother. Boy, that is such a good thing. And if there's, you better have it, people. Good intentions. Well, I was right. And that does
Yeah.
not matter. This is
Yeah.
the fallen world we live in. So, John, thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
Yeah.
No problem.